good morning to all of you. Uh, as you know, there are some topics and units, there are topics and some chapters have been deducted by the CBSE. Around 30% of the syllabus have been deducted for this academic session of 2020 and 21 due to this actually pandemic, actually this trouble. So 5 chapters have been deducted from, of class plus 2 when it comes to subject biology, and there are some topics which also have been deducted in the chapters which are to be included for this session. So today we are going to discuss about the law of independent assortment and dihybrid cross. Today we would discuss only about the law of independent assortment, the introduction of this law, how this takes place, and what is the meaning of independent assortment. Okay, so whenever we talk about independent assortment, we talk about inheritance of 2 genes, 2, 3 and more than 2 genes. That means we are talking about inheritance of more than 2 traits or characters. Okay, so what is the meaning of independent assortment? इंडिपेंडेंट मीन्स जैसे आपको पता है मीन्स बिना किसी दबाव के, बिना किसी प्रेशर के, देयर इज नो प्रेशर ऑन दिस द एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ दिस एलिक पेयर्स. असॉर्टमेंट मीन्स इकट्ठा होना, असॉर्ट होना एक साथ. ओके, टू असॉर्ट टुगेदर इन ऑर्डर टू एक्सप्रेस समथिंग. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट independent assortment. That means to assort together in order to express something independently. Okay, so it's the simple definition of independent assortment. Now, see what happens. Uh, as you know that during the time of segregation, okay, when separation takes place, these are the pure parents. Say for example, we have taken example of inheritance of 2 genes. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 8 genes which are considered to be alleles because they are carrying the same trait or character, like RR means both of these dominant genes are responsible for the round shape, the pea seed. This capital Y, these 2 dominant Y genes are responsible for the yellow color. This wrinkled shape, small r, recessive, both of these recessive R genes are responsible for wrinkled shape. And this Y, small y, these 2 recessive genes are responsible for green color. So here we are talking about shape and color. Okay, round shape is a dominant trait, wrinkled shape is recessive trait, yellow color is dominant trait, green color is recessive trait. This is dominant trait, this is recessive trait. Similarly, dominant trait round shape, recessive trait is wrinkled shape. Now what happens? As you know, during the time of meiotic division, or when the reproductive cells or gametes are formed inside the male as well as in the female reproductive body, when we talk about human beings, what happens then? Meiotic division or gametic formation takes place. So due to that, this segregation occurs. As we have studied about law of segregation, that means separation of alleles, half the number, reduction of the number. Okay, so separation of genes at the time of gamete formation. यानी क्या हुआ, जो भी ये एलिलिक पेयर्स हैं, जैसी भी इनकी अरेंजमेंट थी इन पेरेंट्स में, उनमें से क्या होगा, एक एक जीन को आगे जाने का मौका मिलेगा, एक एक जीन को अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी आगे जाने की. तो क्या होगा, पहले यहाँ पे सेपरेशन होगी. सेपरेशन इज ऑल अबाउट सेग्रीगेशन. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाट हैपेंस, सेपरेशन और सेग्रीगेशन टेक्स प्लेस ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ meiotic or gametic formation, meiotic division. Okay, देन आफ्टर सेग्रीगेशन क्या हुआ, वहाँ पे गेमेट्स बन चुके हैं. सारे के सारे जो एलील्स थे, जो जीन्स थे, ये सारे के सारे अलग अलग गैमेट्स में चले गए, अलग अलग स्पर्म्स में चले गए, स्पर्म सेल्स में अलग अलग एग सेल्स में चले गए. When sperm cell and egg cell, they get fertilized inside the female reproductive system, that is in fallopian tube. Zygote is formed, and when the zygote is formed, again the recombining or recombination of both of the genes which are carrying the same trait, or you can say the recombination or recombining of alleles, okay, which are carrying or which are responsible for the same trait or character. So ये सारे सेल जो मैंने अलग अलग से क्यों बनाए हैं? बिकॉज ये सभी अलग अलग स्पर्म सेल्स और एग सेल्स में चले गए, और जब फर्टिलाइजेशन हुई, when fertilization occurs in female fallopian tube, in order to form zygote, जब zygote बना, zygote में क्या हुआ? पैटर्नल एंड मैटरनल साइड के दोनों के जो जीन्स थे वो आपस में कंबाइन करेंगे. This zygote receives alleles for the different phenotypes or characters from both of the parents, mother and father. Hence, the beginning or starting of recombining or assorting. Recombine होना और assort होना उन genes का, alleles का, उन chromosomes के ऊपर वो शुरू हो जाएगा. Like this way. This is a chromosome, short arm, long arm. यहाँ भी चीजें होती हैं, यहाँ मिलेंगे genes आपको. So these are the pairs or allelic pairs. So these are the genes which are responsible for the same trait. अलग अलग pairs यहाँ आके assort या यहाँ आके आपको वो combine करेंगे. ओके, क्योंकि डीएनए के साथ वो चीजें आएंगी, तो यहाँ पे वो सारे के सारे इस क्रोमोसोम के ऊपर आके वो these alleles are assorted independently and they get assorted together. Now when they get assorted together, these allelic pairs now would express themselves independently, यानी वो अपना एक्सप्रेशन दिखाएंगे without suppressing other pairs activity. This pair, अगर मान लीजिए ये सारे के सारे तीनों के तीनों पेयर्स, ये जो पिंक वाला एलिलिक पेयर है इसका अपना एक्सप्रेशन है, येलो वाले का अपना अलग एक्सप्रेशन है, इनका अपना अलग एक्सप्रेशन है. तो इन तीनों, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल तीनों एलिलिक पेयर्स का अपना अपना ये अपने अपने ट्रेट के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. तो तीनों के तीनों at the same time they would express themselves independently without interfering in others' expressions. यानी this pair would not interfere in the expression of this allelic pair. यानी ये allelic pair इस वाले पे इंटरफेयर नहीं करेगा, ये इस पे नहीं करेगा, इस पे नहीं करेगा. All of these allelic pair would express themselves independently without any of interference, any level of interference. Okay. So these allelic pairs express themselves independently without suppressing other pairs' activity or expressions. But the condition is that all of these allelic pairs they have to be assorted together. इन सभी को assort together यानी इकट्ठा होना इनके लिए जरूरी है. Until or unless they do not assort together, they cannot express or they cannot show their expressions. So they have to get assorted in order to express themselves independently. Okay, but the condition is that all of these allelic pairs have to be assorted together in such a way that they could express themselves. So independent assortment, there is assortment taking place after the formation of zygote, separation during the formation of gamete, and when the male and female gametes get fertilized, zygote is formed, and the recombining of these alleles, assortment of these alleles on this chromosome, and these allelic pair now would express themselves independently without interfering with the expressions of other allelic pairs which are assorted together just near to the first allelic pair. यानी ये खुद को एक्सप्रेस करेंगे इंडिपेंडेंटली, ये भी खुद को करेंगे एक्सप्रेस, ये भी करेंगे, तो एक दूसरे में ये इंटरफेयर नहीं करेंगे. बट कंडीशन क्या है कि सभी को एक साथ ही असोर्ट होना पड़ेगा लोकेशंस के ऊपर, उस क्रोमोसोम के ऊपर, ताकि वो अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कर सकें. अगर वो अलग अलग वहाँ पे रहेंगे, यानी मान लीजिए ये पिंक वाला यहाँ पे है, एक पिंक वाला यहाँ पे है, देन देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एक्सप्रेशंस. So they have to be assorted together in order to express themselves. So this is what we call independent assortments. Independently Actually, when they separated, then they recombine independently, they assort independently, and then they express independently. So it's all about independent assortment. In the next lecture, we would study about this dihybrid cross and independent assortment in detail. This is just an introduction. Do revise it properly. Thank you.